heard all about the why, the inner game. We all know that for you to become a millionaire, you got to be one inside. For you to be a diamond, you got to be one inside. But we also over to you to give you some practical things, how to get there. You know, often people ask me things. You know, give me the secret. Don't give me all this stuff. Just give me the gist. How do you get there? Yeah. I've even been asked this on a panel at a convention. You know, what's the shortcut? A lot of people want to say, you know, I can advertise. I can do internet to this. Just let's cut the crap. Let's get there fast. Yeah. Give me the secret. What, you know, when people talk about what would you like as you know, what's the shortcut? So we found the shortcut. I'm going to tell you a secret now. And you might be surprised. Because the shortcut is our system. We wouldn't be teaching it to you if this was a long cut. Yeah? We've seen people build massive organizations with internet and spend a huge amount of time and energy. We've seen people do all kinds of stuff. And the groups that lasted, the groups that had ultimate success, were the groups that followed the system. Everything else was a blip. A blip in time. And not very long-lasting blip. Neither was it very satisfying. So what's our system? Huh? What do we do? When you look at, you know, 10 core commitments and all that, you know, it's a system that's part of a larger system. But what is our real system?
Doing the inviting, following the invitation.
Just a little piece of it. Anything else? Inviting is a little piece of it. What's our system?
Sharing.
Sharing is a piece of it. Networking is a piece of it.
Duplication.
Duplication. Who said that? Way back there. Okay, events.
Events.
What we have is a system of events that lead to what?
Convention.
To an international convention. This, right here. Right? So, I want to put this in a perspective, you know, from little events to large events, so that you see how this works. This has been by far the fastest way to get somewhere, is to follow the exact system. Don't ask questions. I mean, yes, do ask questions, but do not question it. Trust, believe your leaders, because, you know, we didn't get here by mistake. So just believe us and do it, test it out, and then look back and decide. Yeah, this system works, so no, it doesn't work for me. So what is the system? It's a system of events. Here there's a lot of little events that happen. There is invite is the first event. But I want to specifically focus on events that are slightly bigger. You know? Where does it really begin? How can you speed up this whole process? It's very simple. A brand new person joins, and I can say to them, you can go slowly, you can talk to one person at a time and show them, give them DVD, and it's good, it works. It takes time, yeah? But you can leverage yourself by inviting all of those people to your home and do an evening, a presentation, an information sharing, a product information sharing, business information sharing. It doesn't really matter. A little in-home meeting. How doable is that? Is it doable?
Yep.
How costly is that? Except for those people who put in 5-course meal, it's very cheap, right? We invite you not to provide food. Just a small little something, tiny little things, you know, some body balance. If you have to do food, do life force food. Lay on the smoothies if you have to, but don't go out buying all the food. Little in-home meeting is simple. Why do we want it simple? Yeah, you know, the question that you can ask yourself, can my 8-year-old do this? If you got an 8-year-old. Or otherwise, can an 80-year-old do what I've just done? If they cannot do it, you complicate it. You overcomplicate it. Does that make sense? Okay, so imagine I go and do a meeting for my brand new person here in the front row. And, you know, we do a meeting, maybe 5, 6 people show up. You know, he might have invited 30, 5 show up. Now I have a choice, and he has a choice, and he will have my training. So he could say to them, well, you know, look, let's wait another half an hour. I invite all these 30 people, I'm waiting for them, you know. I want everybody to come. How does that make them feel? Not important, right? So what if only one shows up? You know what? You make them feel like they were the only one invited. You give them all the juice and all the love and all the inspiration. Yeah? We know that if you invited 10, you probably get 2 there. You can get more. There's more likely more people will come to your home meeting than to a hotel meeting. Why? Guess why?
Personal, the environment.
They are more comfortable. They already know you. They know your home. You know, some people say, oh, I can't do a meeting in my home. You know, it's too small. It's too untidy. It's too this. It's too... Guess what? Your friends know that, don't they? So what's the big deal? Invite them home. They'll feel more comfortable there than if it was a sterile environment of a hotel. So you do meeting at home. What happens next? Say out of those, you know, 30 people that 5 showed up, 3 become customers, and 2 say, you know what? This really speaks to me. It makes sense. The product's great. The business makes sense. But the freedom that this can give me, I'm in. Yeah? What do I do? You say, well, look, just what I did. You know, can we do a little meeting at home? And now, so imagine the next person right behind Kapil, and imagine the next person there, Harold, right in the next second row. Now, okay, Kapil and I do 2 meetings now, one at her home and one at his home. Why don't we just combine them? Why would I do 2 meetings now all of a sudden? 2 completely different group of people. One would be a group of highly, you know, dressed up professionals, and the other group might be, you know, people that wear Birkenstocks and shorts and, you know, surfers. Now those 2 groups might be totally comfortable with each other, but they will be feeling absolutely perfectly comfortable, at least at their home. You get that point? So it's more likely you'll get them. And not only that, they're more likely they're going to join, because they're going to see all these people like themselves joining. They're not going to join the group of, you know, dressed up people if they're not used to that. You get that? Okay, so now what would happen if they invited, you know, 10, 20 people, and they have 5 or 3 or 4 show up, and even if there's just one of them says, on each group, I'm in. You got 2 more meetings happening next week. Yeah? Now look how this can go. I talked to Kapil and I talked to Darren. Yeah? Oh, but let's just begin with only one. Yeah? Imagine we have 2, but just for only talk to Kapil, he gets 2 people going. We have 2 meetings. Now not only that, all those 30 that didn't show up, we have already pre-planned 3 more meetings. Within short amount of time, 10 days. I'm saying to Kapil, you're going to run? Do you want to run? How fast do you want to build? Do you want to build fast? Okay, let's run with this. We're going to do 3 to 4 meetings in 10 days. Now every guest you invite, you only tell them about the next meeting. You're not telling them about the next 4. They don't know. So, but then when they didn't show up, okay, we're getting on for Tuesday. Didn't show up on Saturday, well, this happened to be another meeting on, you know, Tuesday. And then one on Thursday. So you get that meeting at Kapil's place, but we now also have 2 other meetings. Now I get real busy. Can you see that? You might think, oh my God, I'm going to get run out of space. You know, how can I do that? Not only that, they have 1 person in each meeting. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So now imagine the person in the next row and they in the next row. They do a meeting in their home. All of a sudden, I have all these meetings. But what's happening for Kapil? He's coming along. I'm doing each meeting, right? Now, It doesn't matter what exact thing I do in a meeting. You guys need to know that when we began, we had no tools. We had the Bible and a script that we memorized. And there was a meeting. Anybody can do that, believe me. Because I know if I can do it, anybody can do it. Now, today we have tools. We have flip charts, we have PowerPoints, we have a DVD. How hard it is to stick a DVD in a TV? You know, what's the chance that they're not having a TV in their home? I mean, not much, right? So, the tools are no problem. How to do meeting is no problem. The fact is, you do it. Huh? Now, look what happens now. Kapil is getting with me to this meeting, he's going to that meeting. Huh? He is learning in the process of how to do meeting. Perhaps we need to go together still to the next generation meetings. And we go, me, Kapil, and the sponsor. Yeah? All of a sudden, we'll be a little crowd. Now, I can say to Kapil, look, you saw what I did. I did it twice for you. Do you think you can do at least a piece of that, or can you do the whole lot? See how much he's willing to do and how much he's comfortable to do, and he did a piece. He might say, oh, I can stick a DVD in. That's no brainer. And the next thing I get is this whole system is being followed up by a training. Yeah? After each person, we do a training. After each meeting, we get a little get-together group, a training. Yeah? Does that make sense to you? Can you see? This could be week 1, week 2, week 3, and we have a group of, 15, 20, 30 people. Make sense? So this is just the meetings, and they follow up with the trainings. Now what happens next? All of a sudden there's 2 groups that are developing. Yeah? What do we do now? Well, we might want to get them together. And at the beginning we want to get that group together and that group together for just a team get together. But sooner or later, as the group is big enough, we say, well, let's get them all together. We have an entire Kapil's group meeting. And again, we do a presentation, they can bring their guests, but that meeting is not so much for their guests as it is for the brand latest new members. Why? 2 things. One is, they get to see the presenter, they get to see back to the original model how to do this, set up a standard, but even more importantly than that, much more importantly is, imagine there's a plumber in that group, and it happens to be a plumber in that group, and they meet, and the plumber will all of a sudden say to themselves, subconsciously, wow, another plumber. It's got to be okay, this business. Get that? Or a lawyer. Yeah? That's the power of these meetings. Plus, it just needs one person ignite and inspire, and I've been on and say something like, I've been on these pills, painkillers for 10 years, and in 5 days, or 10 days, or 2 months, I got on my body and I threw them all away. It just needs to be one person that will ignite the entire group. Now, what's that worth? And that doesn't end there. So what's next happens? The next is the regional events. It could be, Kapil's group, and then Darren's group, and they all meet in the same city or in the same region. And what follows next? Regional training. And next, you have perhaps like a midwinter get-together. And you could have maybe twice a yearly get-together for 2 to 3 days, some special place. Doesn't have to be costly. As you begin, in home, it costs you nothing. Then when you have, say, a little group on that side here, this group, still Kapil's group, they can meet in the restaurant, cost them nothing, or they can hire them in church hall or community hall. And the same with this group. And then they go to the next place, and they may be just, in a cheap hotel, like 3-star. It doesn't cost them too much to hire. But then when it is a big group, they can afford to hire a Hilton or something like that. Does it make sense? It progresses. You don't just go out and do big hotel meetings. How many people are going to get there? If your system has been having many, many little events, that system will be able to feed the hotel meeting. It's like a big funnel. The funnel begins with the invitation. It's your pipeline. You're putting your prospects in, and they go through, through a process of escalation. Every next thing they see is a bigger event. First they got an invitation, then there's a presentation, and end up at a massive conference. For them, it's like in the process of escalation. Escalation of experience, escalation of inspiration, talking to people. Each event becomes bigger and bigger and bigger. It becomes so, people will get so on fire that you cannot hold them back. And what happens to them? You say Kapil's group is taken off and he's got 2 or 3 people who are doing their own small meetings. And they become leaders and they do their own little regional meetings. If you wanted to, you couldn't stop them anymore. Yeah? And when that groups take over, you're done. You can go on holiday. You see, if you do not follow this system, and you do one-on-one each time, and you do all that, everybody on their 3-way calls, and Kapil becomes star and the master and does the best 3-way calls, and he does it for everybody in every group, guess what happens to Kapil? He'll burn out, he becomes a workaholic. That's not a picture of freedom for me. See the point? What will give you freedom is the system of the events. Now, you've heard a number of people here, you know, Karen, how many months from 0 to platinum? 10 months. Where? How many months from 0 to diamond? 14. Yeah? Now, that's a story that you will be able to tell forever. See? Because you only go to platinum once. You only go to diamond once. And you also set the standard. Everybody knows now you can do it in 14 months. Well, guess what? There's people who've done it platinum in 3 months. I have somebody who's done platinum in 2 weeks.
What?
So big events, 2 weeks. Now, we generally say, well, it was 3 weeks. It was 2 weeks. Yeah, but it's so unbelievable that we then say, well, you know, add everything. And that was in the days when the body balance cost $100 a bottle and it took 3 months to get the product. So they were platinum before they got the first box. Okay, so just so you know what's possible. Yeah? But it was only possible because of the events. You know, you can think small, you have 3 people in a meeting, or you can think big and you have 30 people in a meeting in your home. Guess what happens if you get 30 people in a tiny little place? It'll be so, it's like it wants to explode. And out of those, maybe 10 people go out and start doing their own meetings. That's why they were platinum in 2 weeks. Okay. The only piece that I want to add now is all those events that you do, you follow them up with each event followed up with a training event. If you miss the trainings, then it all boils down to the charisma of this 1 or 2 presenters. You do the training, you teach your people well, you will create natural duplication. Now, if you do well, you do the meetings well, and people like you, everybody will want to be like you, so they won't want to duplicate you. This is monkey see, monkey do business. Every time people will copy what you do, and also what you don't do, and we'll stop with that.
So, we're nearly at the end of the day. How do you feel about return on investment? You paid $250 and this is a third of it coming back to you. Do you feel you got value for that money today?
Yes. Yes. Thank you.
Okay. Anybody wants their money back and leave?
No.
So, I've got an announcement on that wave of investment. I invite you to invest in next year's conference, which will be in beautiful, sunny Nelson, New Zealand. It will be the second week of March, starting on the 5th with the leadership training and going same. We start Tuesday with Platinum Academy and going till Sunday. And will be the Rutherford Hotel in Nelson. If you don't know it, you can find it on the internet. It's central Nelson, all walking distance to all these beautiful shops and cafes and everything in Nelson. So I'm going to make you an offer that I trust none of you can resist. Now, I said you paid $250 to be here. That's Australian dollars, right? There's a lot of Kiwis in the room that pay a lot more than that in New Zealand dollars. And for the Aussies, coming to New Zealand may be a bit far away and a bit more investment to get there. So we're keeping the prices the same, but it's New Zealand dollars. Is that already a good deal? And of course, if you pay it now, there's no question that the Kiwi might be stronger than the Aussie next year. You already paid it at the current exchange rate. So, registration forms will go out. All the Platinums got this on the end of the Platinum Academy. Everyone filled it out. Next day, we had the Golds. All the Golds are registered. I invite now all the Bronzes and Silvers to register now for next year's conference in Nelson if you can see yourself be there. And there's a little challenge here. For the Bronzes and Silvers, what are you going to register as next year? So for Platinum Academy this year was 400 Australian dollars. Right? So next year that will be 400 New Zealand dollars. And when I tell you the very, 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 very special early price that you only get during this conference, you've just got to register as Platinum, right? Now, I tell you what happens when you don't. If you say you're bronze today, you register as a bronze for next year, which is basically saying I'm not going to do anything all year. So I don't think anybody in this room would do that. But if you say, well, I don't want to risk it and pay more money than what I'll have ranked next year, if you register as bronze now for the super duper early bird price, and then you get there as Platinum, you have to pay the difference at the standard price, not the early bird price. And I tell you now, the early bird price is 50%. So Platinum Academy, 200 New Zealand dollars. And the form here needs to come back to me while we're at this conference. I'm going to put it all through PayPal. After I've put it through, PayPal will send you a receipt. That makes it tax deductible. And I will destroy the paperwork with your credit card and signature and all that on there, so you can be sure that that's just with me until the end of the conference. Then we put that through, and I count on just about everybody who's here at this conference who can possibly see themselves fly to New Zealand next year, if they're from Perth. It's a long way. But just think of how many fast start bonuses is that really? As how much does it cost me to get there? And 50% reduction in the New Zealand dollars should make that possible. So somebody's going to go around. Jeff, are you ready for that? Giving out the registration forms? They already are. Oh, you saw it before I said it. That was not meant to be like that. I thought it was going to be a surprise.
It was just
they already filled it. Okay, I didn't know that. I could have said it all faster. We had already got the price. So that's the next year's conference. What's going to happen next is we have the icebreaker meal, which is all the people who come in for the conference who just coming for the weekend, who are not bronze yet, will also come and join us out there. We'll have a nice meal together and just mix and mingle. And David Raphael is going to bring the helmets. And are they coming? Yeah, they're on their way. So we'll all just have a social time together and some food. If you haven't registered for that, it's too late now because the cook has got a certain number of people who have the meals. But I'm sure you can just go and eat somewhere. Who hasn't registered for this meal? Anybody hasn't registered? And I've all registered, pretty much all. Okay. Okay. There's one here. You got one. He's got one. Okay. Now, if anybody doesn't know yet on your name tag, if you haven't got your name tag there on the table in the back there, in the back of that name tag is the tickets for the meal that you've paid for. In the back.
Pink one.
The food is here. Now, how are they going to set it up? But you just hang around here and you'll smell it. It will be okay, there's another one spare. If anybody has got somebody out there who hasn't registered for the meal, Christine's got a spare one, Karen's got a spare one.
I lost it. Oh, Finny found you.
You found
Okay.
Manfred found one.
Okay, that one's
Manfred, the
gone.
one you found is mine.
Okay, it's there.
Oh, here.
Thank
Ah,
you.
there.
Yeah, I won't be hungry.
He just asked if it was mine. That's why I knew. I didn't know it was sitting
What,
here.
what the meal will be like, it's finger food. That doesn't mean you have to eat your own fingers or anybody else's fingers, but it will be out there, on the patio out there. And before the Hillmans come, please sign the book. Krista's holding it up in the back there. It's the book to go to Marjorie to take home to her family. Anybody who still wants to write in there, please do so now. No, it's not for your downline. It's only for the people in the room. And during the conference, and there's no taking this home and somebody else getting their prize. There will be another early bird that will set up, but that is only now for the conference. Yeah, we would all start faxing the forms home. And then we'd really go broke with the conference. So I'm counting on having 150 people there, and for that I can afford the 50% reduction for the people who are here. Okay, anything else then? Pass it back to
Yeah, I'm going to cover that right now. Thanks very much, folks. Can I just have your attention before you all sort of disperse and chill? I just want to congratulate all of you. You've been an outstanding audience. You've all been very attentive. That's one thing I have noticed. Now, the logistics for tomorrow morning is that we start sharp 9 a.m. So who's going to be here on time, sitting and getting ready to go? Alrighty? Yeah. And lastly, just make sure all your team that aren't here but are coming tomorrow, just make sure they're all sorted and they know to be here on time as well. And other than that, have an awesome evening. You'll have an opportunity to meet the founders, Wayne and Jerry Hillman, okay? So this is going to be very special, and also our Managing Director, David Raphael. Other than that, we'll sign off and see you tomorrow.
Thank you.
Yeah. There'll be another really good prize. I just won't be as good as this one.
I just have to make sure that there's money on this by the end of the weekend.
So I've got to tell him I've got to remind him as soon as possible. Don't do mine. I warned him. And he laughed. He said, I said there won't be any money. And he laughed. He said, well, what if there is? I said, then I'm a great contest. And then I remember actually there was money for me at the last one. Got my dog back.
Well, I've just had a phone call on my mobile.
Yes.
Because somehow it's still set up when Norm answers the phone, it goes to my cell phone and I don't know how to switch it on. And so I got this call and Norm didn't have to call you. She didn't even know there was this message. She said it was on my phone, so that's why I checked my phone. And so I have to ring him back and say, right, you need to ring such and such. You know, we have that line, you just ring. And he rang that he's going to be there all weekend. You know what he does? You know, like he comes on a Friday night. Yeah, you live in it's $200 in the weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I have to make sure that it's still in the bank on Monday so that he can take that out. And then all my other, I haven't even paid for this weekend.
Maybe.
No, we'll pay for next one. And then we'll pay for this one later. That's the deal we had.